Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you once again for checking out the channel. Today we're going to do a little encasement. To encase something is to basically melt a layer of clear over the surface of whatever it is that you're working on. There's several benefits to having that layer of clear. Mainly it serves as a layer of protection against the different flames and harsh environments that your torch will create. It will also allow you to put a lot more heat into one specific area, for instance when you're doing welds and things like that. Gives you a lot more prep to work with, which is nice. And it gives you that nice reflective glassy look. So here I have a chunk of the Eclipse that I coiled up in the last lesson, and I'm using some 8mm rod, and I'm just heating, applying pressure, and drawing down my tube. Mainly I'm focusing on not trapping any air in between the clear lines as I lay them down. Also notice the distance back in the flame. This is also just to minimize the bubbling or boiling that can happen. I lay 2 lines next to each other and then move a quarter way down the tube, lay another 2 lines. It just helps me keep everything in order. This method is not my favorite, but it is a good place to start, especially if you're just beginning or low on supplies. It's pretty nice that it only takes 1 stick of rod, but it does tend to be less even and less clean than other methods of encasing, such as cup stuffs and sleeving techniques. You can use any size rod you'd like. It really all depends on how much clear you want on top of your color, or how transparent or opaque you'd like your finished prep to be, or how much tubing you need to get out of that color. Another method of encasement is a cup stuff. These can be a little funner. They allow you a little more play with the thicknesses or the densities of the color that you choose to use as you blow them in. I have heard this technique called a million different versions of the 3 words cup, stuff, and puff. Take your pick. It's also called the blow-in. Don't get that confused with a blowout. That's something that we'll cover later on. Here I got a piece of 50x5 on a handle, and I'm coiled up there, a stick of peacock. I even thickened up my flare there just to give it a little more strength as I get it pretty hot. And I'm just getting it all melted in, getting the walls all even. You want everything nice when you blow it in. As I'm blowing in there, to be honest, I'm a little rusty. I should have dropped that down another inch at least. Because I did not, this one came out a little more transparent than I wanted on the end there, but hey, that's life. Now, instead of ripping that handle off, I will just melt it in. It's gonna be pretty thin and weird there, but if you just stick with it, stay in control, you can melt in and thicken all that up. And it actually saves you a little bit of tubing as well. And there I'm just melting down, pulling off the trash end there. With a cup stuff, I usually almost always get an inch or 2 that's not really usable. It's just kind of how it goes, for me at least. And there's the peacock, looking pretty good. A little more transparent than I was going for. Next, I'm gonna do a triple layer. This is where stuff gets really fun. You can start playing with different amounts of color, different layers. The possibilities are really endless. So first I'm coiling up just about 1/3 of a stick of some OG moss. That's gonna be my first layer. And then another small ball of some Loki's lipstick. My 3rd layer is gonna be some opaque aqua. So here I am blowing in just a nice thin layer of the moss. I just want that subtle sheen. I don't want the green of it to be overpowering. That's very important right there. Pop that bubble. You will be unhappy if you do not. There's the Loki's going in, another thin layer. I just want a slight touch, of after it's been in the kiln for a while, maybe I get some cool coppery purples, ambers, or something like that. Keep the tube hot, obviously the whole time. It's kind of a juggling act, melting in or heating up your 3rd ball and keeping your cup hot, but you get the hang of it. And there's the opaque aqua going in. That's a little bigger ball, but still pretty small. Still gonna be somewhat transparent. There we go, just bring that to the top. And then just melt it in. Don't worry about cutting it off. Just keep it on there and just be the lathe. Stay in control. And there, I just melt from one side to the other. In this case, I just go left to right. Here, just melting it in, drawing it down to about a nice 26 mil tube. Something a little easier to work with. The cup stuff technique is pretty fun because of how you can layer colors, and you can really do it in any size. You can do, if you only need a little bit of tubing, you can do a small one. You can do a huge one. Here we go. I got a chunk of 80 by 9 on the lathe here with about a third of a stick of the opaque aqua. And I use just a little bit of color and a bunch of clear, and it will turn that opaque into a transparent color. By the time it's pulled down to a good working size, that layer on the inside is so thin that the color is see-through. So there I am, just working that in. Same thing, I just leave that handle on there, melt it all in, and just start pulling it down. And there they are. Single, triple, and a transparent cup stuff. Thank you for checking out this episode, and next time we're going to do a little more encasing with some sleeving techniques. So thank you once again. See ya.